Hello, girls. I think this is the last meeting that we have in this period. But before to start, I want to say thank you, all of you, because you were patient with me when I couldn't be connected in this meeting at the correct time. But thank you so much for your comprehension with me. At this time, girls, we organized this meeting to talk about the last topic in this time is making tests. Preparing making tests and exams. Why, for example, we often think of exam as a way to test student comprehension of material. Exams can serve more than one purpose. For example, being aware of why we are testing a student and what exactly we want to test can help make students and instructor experience of exams more useful at this time. For example, before we start preparing an exam, we need to make, for example, a question. Why am I giving an exam to my students to evaluate and grade students, to add variety to student learning, to motivate the student to study? For example, to identify weakness and correct them. We can use quizzes, for example, to obtain feedback on your teaching too, and to provide a statistic for the course of the institution and to accredit qualified students at this time.
Yes, Jonathan, I totally agree with you that the objective of to assess a test is to verify what the student have learned during the teaching process. Well, and that could be about a specific topic or that could be more than one topic. It depends of the kind of test that we are placing to our students, right? And in that way, we're gonna be able to verify if we achieve the goals and the objectives as teacher that we have since the beginning of the learning process, right?
Right. Thank you so much for your opinion. Someone else?
Hello, my name is Alessandra, and you know that making a test, like an introduction, is that we as a teachers we have to evaluate the students, or we are going to gather the information for the students, and we know for the students assessment provide them with a feedback of their learning and can also be incitation to improving their academic performance. We know we can evaluate the students by a test or an oral exam or a text or an exam that we know that exams are more extensive than a test. We know when we are making a test, there are type of tests. Inside the text, we can put true or false. We can use multiple choice. We can use matching. We can use short answer or complete answer, and we can. They have a like we can variate the test with these things. We know they are objective tests that are the multiple choice, the true or false, or matchings. That objective test is one which the student's performance to measure against a standard and a specific test of answer. When a composition of this question, it is important to be direct or to use language to have a straightforward and familiar to the students. We know with this test, we can evaluate the students no matter what information. We have to give them a feedback because we are going to know if the students gather the information that we as a teacher teach to them, and like only that. Thank you.
I
In this
agree
case,
with you, Alessandra. I think that tests are important to measure the student knowledge because when we teach, we need to be sure that our student understood the lesson or understood the topic that we gave to him, all the information that we gave to them. For example, as you mentioned, there are different type of tests, and we have to choose the correct one for the topic that we're gonna evaluate. For example, if we're gonna evaluate a reading story, then we need to choose the correct way to evaluate and according to the level of the students. Then we need to make sure if our students are gonna answer the question that we're asking, because it's not important how difficult we put the exams or how we put the test. Then the important thing is that our student understand know how to answer the question that we gave to him and to comprehend what is presented to them. And I think that the four skills are important too, because in English, it is important to measure all the areas. All the areas are joined. For example, if a student can't understand a reading, won't understand the grammar structure of the reading, or can spell the words that are in the reading, then everything is joined to make a final production. And it's something important too that is important to include in the test is the first part. For example, the name of the school, a symbol or the representation of the school. For example, the date, the name of the student, the teacher name, the grade, the partial, the signature that we are evaluating.
Hmm. Good night. As you already mentioned, tests are made up to measure a student's proficiency according to a lesson they already learned. So we need to be clear in that how we're going to start to make a test. So it is outstanding to think about how to start a test. We need to write down in structure that need to be clear enough, explicit, and not ambiguous to make sure the students know exactly what we need or what we want them to do. So we also need to take into account how long the test is going to be, because it has to have an appropriate hour. Just the exercises need to be specific for them as well.
I think the same to you, Tanya. I share the same opinion, because when we make a test, we have to be sure that we have to give clear examples, clear instructions that they can follow. And also here, when we are going to see if the student have learned or not during the term that we are evaluating. I want to add something else that we have to take into account that time, because if we are in the class, the test have to be achievable. The student have to accomplish this during that time stipulated.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
and
Go
I
ahead,
agree
Paula.
with you.
Go ahead.
Okay. I agree with you and with Salome. The clear instructions are part of the element of to make a test, a good test. Instruction are very important because you are the responsible to introduce your students to make a test. And this is the base to start to design a test. And also it is important, the second element is focus on the evaluation. That does mean, okay, it is mean how that how you have to be very tests have to be very attractive for the students according to the reliability students. You have to include the contextualization of the target language of the students. You have to include the context, like for example, hobbies and real context of the students, I mean. And this is part of the meaning that tests students. And I want some police and and the students. And that's all. What do you think, Stephanie?
Hello.
Okay, Paola, thank you for that information. Thank you for giving to us your opinion. Now, I want to
Hello,
mention
I'm
something.
Mrs.
As Catherine said before, we have different kind of tests, right? Yeah, I want to talk about some of them. We have different types, like for example, we have subjective tests. The objective of this kind of test is to set more than paragraph and essays. For me, I think so we can implement those kind of tests in grammar, right? Because in that way we have to know if the students are following a logical consequence of of the paragraph, if they are connected and so on. And also we have objective tests. Well, this kind of test has a definitely answer. In this one, we can use the kind of Catherine said, a true or false, multiple choice, matching test, you know. So I think so that we can use this kind of test in, like, for example, maybe in the spelling class, because we can write, for example, how do you spell correctly this word, and you can write down 3 options or something like this. Yeah. Okay, and also we have another kind of test, right? According with the objective to measure what the students have acquired. Like for example, we have diagnostic test, achievement test, proficiency test. We as teacher at the beginning of the course apply diagnostic tests to see what the students know about the topic and to see what are their weakness, right?
Hello, everyone. I'm going to talk about the most frequent evaluation that has a teacher we made in our classes. For example, the first is diagnostic evaluation. And we made this evaluation at the beginning of the class. And another is the formative evaluation that we made during all the process, the learning and teaching. And the last one is the summative evaluation. And in this kind of evaluation, the teacher give points and made a test, exam, or quiz. But when we make a test, we have to include some elements that are important. For example, we have to be clear in the instruction. We have to use simple words, and we have to be realistic to make this kind of test. That is all. Thank you.
Okay, Cindy, thank you so much for give it to us your opinion about uh, how to make a test. So do you want to add something else, girls and guys, I mean, sorry, Jonathan. No, right? Or yeah,
Me, it
I don't know, anyone.
I was,
Do you want to
you
add
told
something?
I thought you asked me about if I was agree when you said girls and boys.
Sorry.
It doesn't matter. No, I don't have anything to say. Anything to say. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think we are about to finish. I'm watching the Alexander's face at this moment. But thank you so much, girl, for your participation in these whole meetings. I really appreciate your presence here, your collaboration with the course. And if everything is going fine, we are going to see us again at the next period. Thank you again, guys. You're a champion at this time of life, because we are about to finish this program. Thank you again for everything.
Yes, guy, I think so that we learn many new things with in didactics now, in didactics too, right? And well, I think so that we are gonna be prepared as teachers to set a very great exam for our students, right? I hope so. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna let you go. A pleasure to be here with you. See you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Bye.
See
Thank
you
you so
then.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.